Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I'm going to take a look at this cool looking little truck by MJX. Yeah, you heard that right, MJX, a brand that's really popular in the drone community with their Bug Series drones. As far as I know, I don't think they've ever released an RC car before. Maybe they have, but I've never seen it before. So as far as I know, this is their very first attempt at an RC vehicle. This is the H16H. It is a 1/16 scale little brush powered truck. But of course, it goes by that name Hypergo on the side. But what's really unique about this is it has GPS built in on it. I love that MJX was innovative and decided, you know, we're going to put a GPS, since we have those on our drones. At least not all of them, but some of them. Put that in here. That way we can get a speed reading. You could also map where you're going on the map. Just a cool little innovative touch that I hadn't seen before, at least in any kind of hobby grade, lower hobby grade RC vehicles. So I really like that they did that, and it should be pretty cool because you'll connect by Bluetooth to the app on your phone, your smartphone, and that will let you do all that, and you can control quite a few things on it, including this LED light bar that's on the front. Of course, the vehicle's powered off now. I'll show you that once I get it powered on. Pretty bright LED strip light there in the front, which you can turn on and off from that app. And of course, see the speed and the top speed it'll record as well in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. So it also has, you know, some metal oil-filled shocks, and I'll take the body up to show you guys all that underneath here. This is going to be a bit of a dirty review. I'm not going to mess with the table review. I'm just going to do it all here today because, let's face it, a lot of you guys don't even watch the table review portion anyway. So this does have one of those newer style bodies. It doesn't have the body clips. I don't think I'm really a fan of that yet. I saw this on the Rollarlo truck I reviewed a month or two back. And the advantage of this is if you get in a crash and you don't have to worry about losing a body clip, or you don't have to drop in one outside and then you can't find it. You have to pull up this, it always confuses me. I think you have to go 90 degrees to the side, then you pull this locking mechanism up, and then the whole body comes up and out. So you have to get this down underneath the front shock supports, and then go down and clamp it in place when you're putting it back on. Again, I'm not a huge fan. It's kind of bulky, and it does take a little getting used to. So I haven't made up my mind how much I like these new style bodies that we're seeing. But underneath it here, you can see the vehicle. Now here's a little, looks like a 390 brushed motor. Has both passive and active cooling, which is pretty cool. You've got these fins for the airflow, and then you have a fan on top. So this will keep this little brushed motor nice and cool, and that'll help the longevity of the motor. Then you got your receiver ESC here, right here, and you can see where all the plugs go in. And it looks like it has I think it's a 3-wire servo, so a standard servo connection. And then you can see your GPS module right here. That plugs into the receiver ESC and powers it. And then it connects to the app in your phone by Bluetooth, and it is GPS and GLONASS, the Russian GPS system. So it has a really good GPS lock on it whenever you do get all those connected. And then you got these metal oil-filled shocks, which is something that I think the original prototype did not have. That it had just plastic, or they may have been metal, they were friction. I don't remember if they were plastic or not. You got metal dog bones and cups in here. That's really nice. The tires feels like they're just air filled. I don't feel any foam in there, but they feel pretty nice. And it looks like it ought to be a pretty decent, you know, it looks like nice composite plastics. Now, unfortunately, with the LiPo battery here, there's good and there's bad. The bad is what's included is this rectangular style proprietary battery, and I can take it out here and show you guys. You have to turn this little locking mechanism and pull it out. And it does use the Dean's plug. That's a positive. But you know, this is not something you can just go buy at your hobby shop. It's a two cell 7.4 volt 1050 milliamp LiPo battery. So it does use a Dean's plug, but you can't just, you know, go find a replacement for this. So it's a bit of a proprietary, and you can't charge it on a hobby grade charger because you don't have a balance plug. So you have to use the USB-C connection on the side, which is rather slow. Now the good thing is you can just put a 2S LiPo in here with the Dean's plug and go. Like the little batteries that the Zinlahongs use, the GP Toys, those, and the Legendary, all those trucks and cars You can find those batteries on Amazon really cheap, and those 2S LiPos will work just fine in here on this new ESC. I think the original one was a bit picky about, the original prototype ESC was a bit picky about working with a LiPo other than this one, but now it seems to work just fine from what I've heard. So that's a big nice bonus. Here is your steering servo down here underneath the receiver in the ESC. I was hunting that down a moment ago. Yeah, that pretty much looks like that covers everything in terms of the truck. Let me show you, I'll just quickly show you guys the box. There is that H16H model number, and they just mentioned some of the features. You know, all metal transmission, some metal gears, ball bearings, that's all a huge plus. The metal shocks, of course they show that proprietary battery. Now let me show you a few of the accessories. There is a wheelie bar. I'm not going to put that on. I don't think that'll be needed, but you want to put it on. We'll see. When I drive it today, if it's riding wheelies and wanting to flip over, then we know we need this. If it doesn't need this, that's just added dead weight you don't need on it. Lots of times those are not needed on a little brush car. And then you get a Phillips screwdriver, your USB charging cable for the battery, and a 4-way wrench for like removing the wheels or doing repairs. And they also give you this wristband. This wristband would be to pull your phone, and then that way you can look at the app while you're driving it, which is nice because you do look at the app, you know, a landscape, and it's just there's no holder for it on the actual controller, which I'll show you guys now. Here's the controller, pretty nice, a foam grip on the wheel I'm always a fan of. You've got your throttle dual rates, so how fast you want it to go. If you want it all the way up to the right, that's top speed. Your steering trim, which you'll need to trim up the first time you drive it especially, and your steering dual rates, which will allow you to set the steering radius of the car. You got some throttle and steering reversing for the servo direction. You shouldn't need to mess with that. There's a button here, which I'll see. I don't think that does anything. It takes 3 AA batteries. And there also is this little function button here. I don't think that does anything either. And then your on and off switch here on the bottom of it. So that's everything for the controller, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, get it bound up, and then I'll show you guys the app and some of the functions, and then we'll take it out and drive it. And I'll do a screen recording of the app so we can actually see that app function, and you can follow along while I drive. So let me pause the video. I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, it's all powered on. You can probably hear, if I'm quiet, the little fan running in there to cool the motor. Be quiet for a moment. And let's go ahead and we'll connect it to we'll connect it to the app. I'll show you guys that, and then we'll get it out here and drive it and see how it works. Now, I mentioned on the controller that I didn't think the side button does anything. I double checked, and it actually does. It's called like an ejection button. I think it's like a just full throttle almost. We'll see what it does. It just really flew out of my hands when I pressed it. I don't know how that's any different than just giving it full throttle with the trigger, but we'll test that out if I remember. So let's go ahead and take a look at that app now. And in the app, you'll see the Bluetooth light flashing. So what you need to do is you need to press that, and the truck will show up in the list. And it seemed like when I tried it earlier, you also make sure that you're bound to the controller. It didn't want to connect if I was not connected to the transmitter as well. So just press on that, and now it says connected. Then you can go ahead and close it on the red X. And now we can see a GPS, and it shows that we have, you know, we're connected there, and it's not flashing, so we have a good GPS lock. There's a timer here if you want to use a timer. Here's our battery power. It shows 8.1 volts, and we've used it 7 minutes so far. I was just fiddling around with it. Let's see, you have some, under the gear you have some options. I don't know on the watch, it's manual, semi-auto, and full auto, something with the stopwatch. You can go between miles per hour and kilometers per hour. The state, I guess, is how it records hours and minutes, and then your language being English or Chinese. So that's pretty much it. Now let me show you how those lights work. That third little button at the top there, if you press that, you'll see here the lights come on and go off. LEDs don't use much power, so you're totally fine running those whenever you want. You're not going to make really any noticeable difference in the drive time. So let's go ahead and put the vehicle down. Let's just see what kind of speed we get. We're going to drive it mostly here in the front. So I'm going to just give it a little throttle here and see if it, and there it is registering the speed. So what I'm going to do is I'll set it down, we'll do a few, and we'll see, you know, it says maximum there of 7. So it records the maximum miles per hour, since I have it in miles per hour. So I'm a little more familiar with judging that speed than I am kilometers per hour. And then the current speed is, of course, 0. So I'm going to set this on the back of my car, and let's just drive it a little, and then we'll check and see what kind of speed we got. Of course, you guys will be seeing, whoa, it looks like it may need that wheelie bar. I didn't really want to mess with it because lots of times I found these, they don't need them. This one may actually need that. Looks like it's pulling a little bit to the right, so I'm going to steer trim it back to the left a little bit. Always get these vehicles trimmed up at first. Now it looks like it's going to the left, so maybe I went too far. It is not easy to get this trimmed up. Let's bring it back at me. That's going to the right. Oh yeah, definitely. The wheelie bar is definitely needed. Certainly can get by with it, but look how that just flies up. And of course, I don't think I mentioned, but this is four-wheel drive. See, all 4 wheels go. So it's not this rear-wheel drive, which would make it even more susceptible to want to ride a wheelie. But it still does. It's obviously the rear gearbox gets more of the power than the front, and it's riding a wheelie. So anyway, let's take it out here, and we got the miles per hour reader going back there. So let's just see. We haven't done a good speed run to see what kind of speed we get. Whoa, boy, yeah, it definitely needs the wheelie bar. I'm gonna guess that's somewhere 15 to 20 is my guess. Maybe closer to 20. Of course, you guys are seeing the speed in real time here, and I can't look at it, so I'm gonna go back now and see what it said for the max speed. This truck is great. It's got good power. It's really agile. Let's see, we got a top speed here of 22, so I was off by 2 miles per hour. I've been driving these long enough, you start to get a good gauge on speed. So I tell you what, 22 is not bad at all for a 1/16 scale brushed powered. If this were brushless, then I'd be a little bit disappointed. But brush power, I mean, I've got a little 1/18 scale brushless E-Sheen PX Toys truck that I don't think is this fast. So they got this one really geared good. That looks like a nice brush motor in there. So yeah, we definitely want to put that wheelie bar in the back. I didn't mess with it. And just a little crunched with time with all the different work I got going on right now. So it's just been tough to dedicate to the YouTube channel, and I don't want to slack on it for you guys, but that's why I'm not doing the table review on this truck. I've done that in the past. Sometimes I don't do a table review on a truck because I can pretty much cover it all out here. It's just not as ideal. But look at that, it just, that grass is, you know, it's not horrible, but it definitely needs mowed. Boy, look at that. Oh, back on the wheels. Yeah, this is great. I know David at Perth West, he had the prototype, and then he got this one. He's reviewed this. I think Marcus at Idaho Quadcopter even was sent this by MJX, since he's got good relations with them in the drone community. But I can't remember on Marcus's if his was the prototype or if it was the final release. Because like I said, the prototype of this truck had just friction shocks and a different ESC. And that ESC, which I think is like 35 amp, it was real picky about working with a LiPo battery that's not this one provided. So David was able to figure out, you know, how to make it work, but no problems now. The new version, from what I understand, I've not tested it yet, but David said there's no problems on this new one. Of course, and he showed it in his video, but he reassured me, and he, like I said, in his video, he had that. I've got some mini battery packs that'll fit in here from those Zenlahong, but I wanted to do it with the original pack so you guys can see in case there's any differences but there shouldn't be on 2S. But just so you see exactly what you're going to get out of the box. Yeah, I'm impressed with this little guy. MJX has done in my opinion, MJX did a good job for what I think is their very first RC car, because it has got just, it's got the LED lights, really cool. The oil-filled shocks are really nice, and they're metal. And I'll show you guys. When you drop this thing, the shocks work. Look at that, it didn't bottom out. If you guys can see that, hopefully it shows up in my head cam. That's the difference between friction shocks and oil-filled shocks. So it really does a good job. And boy, has it got a lot of power. That just is flying through this rather deep grass without any problems at all, which you typically run into some issues at this scale on a brush motor. They tend to get bogged down. Boy, this one doesn't. Again, the LED light, the look of it, the oil-filled shocks, the overall speed and performance, and the fact they threw that GPS speed reader in here, it's just a really great touch. It kind of separates this truck from the many other. There's a plethora of vehicles similar to this. And even though I think this is a bit better than other ones I've driven without the GPS reader, throwing that speed reader in there, it's just really awesome. Now, yeah, it's going to add a little cost, but thankfully GPS modules have come down to where they're really inexpensive now. They're not super expensive for them to include. And I like that the Bluetooth does more than just record the top speed. It gets you to control those lights, and it also gives you the current speed and the top speed. Now, I'm not going to mess with it in there right now, but there is a map. And when I get into that map, I have trouble getting back out of the app without it exiting. But there should be a way to go in that map. In the lower left-hand corner, there's a Google Maps icon that should allow you to see like the routes you've driven, which, I don't know how much you'd see. I'm driving it. You have to drive it a bit of a ways for it to be able to separate the lines from one another, because unless it's really zoomed in. But to me, that's not really something that I'm too worried about. I want to see the top speed of this guy. And I don't really have it, available right now to fiddle with that while I'm driving without putting that wristband on, which is something I might look into. But it wasn't practical to attach that to my arm with my camera and the controller and everything today. So, whoa, the wheelie bar is definitely needed. I kind of like seeing it flip up like that, but then again, if I flip it upside down on the road and it flips over and then scoots along on the pavement, it's going to put a bad road rash on the top of that nice Lexan body. So the wheelie bar will definitely help. I don't think the wheelie bar is going to completely keep it from flipping. As hard as it throws itself back, it could still flip over the wheelie bar, but it's going to definitely make a big improvement over none at all. So let's go up here and check the GPS and see if we've got any different top speed, or if it's maxed out. Now it says 19, so it must periodically take readings at different intervals. So the highest we hit early on was 22. Now it says 19, so it doesn't actually keep a record there. But I do think there was a spot on, if you go to your little icon here, this for like your account or your profile, you can see it says historical max speed of 20. And it shows we've gone 0.91 miles, which that seems awful a lot. Total time of 2 minutes. I don't know, we'll have to see how accurate. We know we had 22, so I don't know why that says 20. And there it's reset. Maybe if you stop for a while, it resets, because there's no instructions for the app in the actual instruction manual. It just tells you what app to get, which again, I don't think I mentioned. I'll put that up at the beginning of this video. If I didn't mention what the app was called, but it's a Hyper, it's the Hyper Wheels app was the name of that. I didn't put that up, but I'll put a screenshot at the beginning when I started mentioning the app, and you guys will be able to see what it is in case you have trouble finding it in the app stores. But it looks like if you sit for a while or stop, it periodically will stop and then re-record its top speed, because 22 is the best I've seen. Now, since we're running the screen recording there, we may have hit a higher speed along there, so if there is a higher speed, take note of that. But but it's going to be in that 22. Maybe it could have hit 23, but I don't think it's going to really do better than that. But the account says the highest we've hit is 20, which again, that's not accurate. It was actually a little higher than that. And I don't know how often that account data updates, so maybe that will update to the 22 here in a little bit. But yeah, it seems like it's got good power. Look at that. I'm really impressed with the power on this guy. That's some tall weeds over there. And the reason why I keep in the street a lot is because I wanted to try to test out the speed reader, which is not going to be applicable when you're driving through tall grass. But yeah, that's good. Oh, gotta watch that block there. I need to move that. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, this is a quick little booger. All right, guys, I think that's enough there. You know, always so much I can do spinning around here in front of my house. But I wanted to test the speed mostly. That's again why I didn't take it off-road a lot. And you know, it's just a mud pit in the back, which might be a good follow-up video for this, but it would not be good for this initial video today because mud caked in here is going to gum up and add weight, and it would make the top speed possibly lower than it really is. So that's one reason why I didn't want to take it in the back. All right, guys, if you're interested in the HyperGo H16H from MJX, you can pick this up at Banggood. I'll include a purchase link, and if I get any coupons, I'll include that as well. If you do choose to buy anything from my videos through the affiliate links, they do help me out. It supports my channel, so I continue to make honest videos like this for you guys. But you won't pay any more. In fact, most of the time you'll pay less because a lot of times I'll have coupons. So keep that in mind. You're not like lining my pockets with money by buying. The commission is pennies literally on the dollar. So it's very little. It helps the channel, but most importantly, lots of times it helps save you money as well. So, all right, guys, so that wraps up the review of the MJX H16H, a little HyperGo truck with GPS. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I appreciate it. Also, click the bell. That way you're notified every time I do upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.